So when you really understand the foundational concept of one data tool, learning those other tools gets easier. And here's why. Now let's talk about Excel, SQL, Power BI, and even Python. Now, what changes is the interface and the syntax. However, the way that data is structured and the way that things are organized, that remains consistent. So, a real life analogy of this is someone that knows how to drive. You know how to drive a vehicle, and most of us have been driving. I don't know. I'm from the South, so we started very young. So, you know how to drive, and every time you get into a new vehicle, there might be a little learning curve regarding like the way like the gas goes or the way the seat is or the dashboard, but you're not going to have to like relearn how to drive again. You're going to have to relearn how to drive that vehicle. Same concept. Data works the same way. Like once you fully understand how data works and behaves, the vehicle is the tool. Same concept. So let's talk about Excel and SQL, which is why I urge people if they're just starting out, get in Excel because Excel is very robust and it sets their foundation for other things. But anyway, let's talk about Excel. So in Excel, you have your VLOOKUP, you have your XLOOKUP. And that is when you have the ability to join your primary keys from one data set to your foreign keys to another data set. Period. That's what it does. But guess what else does it? We do the same thing in SQL. In SQL, we do the exact same thing, but it's called a join. We take the primary key from one table and join it to the foreign key in another table. Guess who else does that? Python. Python does it and they call it a merge. Guess who else does that? Power BI. However, when you're joining that data, you still have to understand data relationships. You got to know what a primary key is, you got to know what a foreign key is. But once you understand that, you're able to apply that in all of those environments because you understand data. And that logic doesn't stop just at those tools. It carries over into pipelines, data warehouses. Like it never stops. It never stops. It's the same. So, in short, like if you don't have that foundational knowledge, if you don't understand data relationships, what a primary key is, what a foreign key is, if you don't understand data quality, if you don't understand those things, the tools don't matter. And what I mean by that, let's say you built out a dashboard in Power BI. You built out a dashboard in Power BI and the numbers are wrong. So on the surface, it could look like something is wrong with like your interface or whatever the case is, when in reality, the issue is coming with your data relationships. How did you merge that data set? That's the problem. And that comes from understanding data, not the interface. And also, I say this a lot as well, and I teach my students this. This is why, in the space of data, the learning never stops because it's ever evolving. Like things are always changing. However, once you have that core foundational understanding, that ability to be able to ramp up is fairly small as opposed to someone who has no foundational understanding. So, yeah, you're always learning, but you're never starting from scratch, ever. So basically, you hone in on the foundations. You hone in on those foundations once, and you continue to grow. And that's how you grow your career in data. You just keep going. You keep going. You keep going. Bye, y'all.